Now, everybody in the world and their mother has an idea of how to change NASCAR, how to improve it, how to make different things better. And you know what? I'm no different. I'm not going to act like I'm all high and mighty. I'm not going to act like everything's great either and be a bootlicker. So today, I want to offer some helpful criticism, something that can really be used whether you be a fan of talking about what you think should be changed to make things better, or if you're a NASCAR exec and you want a little extra data to prove why you're right on a specific thing you're pushing. So today, here are 5 changes NASCAR can make to be more popular. Now, I want to preface that a lot of this is very data-based. Some is opinion, of course, or else it wouldn't have been on this list, and that you can feel free to disagree. The number one thing to start with is a schedule change, to remove a few road courses. I'm going to preface this right now. I love road courses, and I think the amount we have right now is pretty perfect for my liking. But I am not the average motorsport fan. I'm someone who has different likes, different needs than normal NASCAR fans, and for that reason, it shows in the data that road courses just are not what NASCAR fans are looking for. They're routinely the lowest viewed races of the season when scheduled, and now we have went from 2 in 2017 to 6 in 2022. And when you look at some of the numbers this year, for instance, at COTA, the only Fox race in the first 7 that was nowhere near 4 million viewers, well, was that race compared to all the other ones around it. And then you have to look at the Roval, for instance. A lot of people will say the Roval is a hit. You can never get rid of that race. But the viewership, all on big NBC, would definitely like to differ and say maybe we need to bring the Oval back. You see, in 2018, in the first year of the Roval, 3.2 million viewers watched it, which is a pretty good number overall. In 2019, 3.024 million watched, meaning it was down 6% from 2018, and again, was down from the average that NBC got in 2019. In 2020, it went below 3 million for the first time, 2.778 million viewers, meaning down 8% from the year before and 14% overall. And the 2.778 million viewers was well off of the 3.39 million average that NBC got in 2020. And then you got 2021. 2.548 million viewers watched this race, meaning again it was down 8% from the year before and overall has gone down 21% from 2018 when NASCAR ratings overall have been relatively stable. And because the 2021 average is nearly 3 million viewers, it means that this race is about 400,000 total viewers off of that average. And when you look at the rate that it's falling, it's quicker than the rest of the sport. And in 2022, if it falls at the same rate, would mean that the Roval would get 2.344 million viewers, which is on par with a normal cable race on big NBC. So very, very bad. And then, of course, you look earlier in the year at Road America. Viewed by less than 2 million viewers this year, it meant that it was one of the few races that on its scheduled time would draw that small of an audience. Road courses, as much as fans like myself like them, is probably not good for the long-term health of the sport when oversaturated and probably needs to change sooner rather than later. Now, we're sticking again with the last one on the schedule, and we're going with the one exception to my road course rule, which is the Daytona road course. It needs to be used more. The Daytona road course was actually a relatively popular track to have and seems to be NASCAR's go-to if a race gets canceled. And the Daytona name overall is very marketable in racing, automotives in general, and also with casual fans. In 2020, they had 3.263 million viewers for this race, meaning it was the second most watched 2020 NBC race of all, and was even more viewed than the summer Daytona race that ended the regular season. So a pretty impressive feat for any track, let alone a road course against a super speedway. In 2021, it had 4.75 million viewers, and due to the rain-delayed Daytona 500, it meant that it was actually the most watched race of 2021 as the second race of the season. While fans haven't shown up in force when it comes to attendance, they have shown up in force when it comes to the ratings. The racing overall has not been very bad either, and it kind of fits what the next-gen car would do when it comes to making good racing at a road course. There's a market here, and I think that NASCAR should explore it instead of other road courses that only show a decrease over time in growth. Now, we're going to go away from the schedule and to something off the track. NASCAR needs to do everything in its power to vastly improve its video game standing on the market. This is a huge gateway to children, or in my opinion, what can be seen in a business sense as the future 18 to 49 demo. You see, video games in a lot of ways is what got me into NASCAR. Well, I watched during the weekend at the Busch Series, Truck Series, and of course the Cup Series back in 2005, it was games like NASCAR Thunder 2004 and NASCAR 06 that got me more and more invested and more immersed into the culture of NASCAR. And that's the same thing that can happen today if we have a good game for kids. You see, while iRacing's base has grown over time, a more palatable working game would help that one grow long-term immensely if you're looking at it from a NASCAR standard, and it would mean that there isn't going to be a giant dead zone when it comes to casual gamers versus those who are hardcore or sim racing. With F1 and EA faltering right now a bit, this could be a prime opportunity for NASCAR to take some players or even the power of the market away and take the momentum away from a rival racing series, meaning you could see over time a growth in the overall viewership. Video games, esports, all that stuff is so much more important than a lot of these companies want to admit. And I think that the quicker that NASCAR sees this, the quicker that they try and make stuff either easier for Motorsports Games or just gets to a better company overall to make their games, the quicker they're going to have this growth that they want to see. Success in the largest entertainment medium in the world will never hurt any entity, and I think will actually boost NASCAR to a level it hasn't seen maybe in 5 to 8 years. Now, for the last part, it's something that everyone has talked about, but I think needs to have stress in every aspect possible, and that is improving every broadcast deal from this point forward. One, if you're going to have it on TV, it needs to be on network TV for more often. And that means being on Big Fox, NBC, CBS, and ABC. Listen, no disrespect to these two series, I've said it before, but if IndyCar and IMSA can get on NBC while NASCAR is cast aside to the USA Network, you know that it can be done with good negotiating, and you know that NASCAR has room to improve in this market. Having it on network television will keep the old base engaged that keeps the viewership up. When you look this year, cable races have been down more than ever, but Big Fox races have been up for a pretty good amount. This means that it puts NASCAR in the same conversation when it comes to broadcasting as the NFL, NCAA football, MLB, and even F1 as some of the most easily accessible sports in America. And right now, as we see a big culture shift and the dissolving of an overall sports culture, it will put NASCAR in a much better place to be more palatable to fans who are looking for that sports fix when they can't find different sports. I think that also having easier streaming options for younger fans to get into it, for instance, like having games, or in this case, races on YouTube like the MLB has done, will be a huge point of concern as well for NASCAR to go with. I don't think going on Peacock or Paramount Plus or whatever the hell else streaming service these guys want to put them on is going to help grow the sport. It's only going to help grow the base of these companies and pad their bottom lines while NASCAR's continues to falter. Find ways to have less commercials as well, because today's younger audience has no time for them. You see what F1 does, you see what Netflix does, you see all these successful streaming platforms and viewing platforms, and none of them have the commercial breaks that NASCAR does. It will give more opportunities, in my opinion, for analytical commentary and to really expand the broadcast. When you have 3 to 3.5 hours of pretty much no commercial coverage, I think what it means is that you have an opportunity to dive in depth with a lot of these personalities and make people like them more. And it will bring the current dinosaur broadcast plan that they have right now up to the present day and revamp it, which in my opinion is the most must-need thing NASCAR has when going into the next contract. But these are all just my thoughts. I could be shooting them into the ether and they might have no real standing whatsoever, or people will just disregard them. But I want to hear what you think overall. So let me know down in the comments below. What do you think NASCAR can do to up their viewership? While you're at it, leave a like on this video. Share this video and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content. Thank you to all my channel members for your continued support. And until next time, have a good one.